All right. Yes, let's start with this because I gotta tell you, I took some notes.
There was a lot.
There was a
going
lot
tonight.
going on.
Oh man.
But I do wanna touch on one thing real quick before we even get into the matches. They managed to take a match that when we made our predictions on Thursday they took a show that was only 4 matches strong when we made our predictions, and through adding 2-3 matches to the card in the days after, and freaking three if you, I'd say 3 if you, well 3 if you, well I was counting the pre-show, but I know the pre-show doesn't count.
Pre-show.
But that's a whole different thing. But I mean, they managed to stretch it out to 3 hours, so there is that to consider. Because I was thinking, we were going to have a 2.5 hour show.
Long matches. Yeah.
And the first thing we had, see, I was actually, so we talked right before we started. We asked the question, you asked the question of who watched the kickoff, and I did. I was excited to see Drew Gulak go against R-Truth. That was actually a fun match. I'm just like,
I like both those guys, but
let me explain part of what happened in this match so you can understand why I enjoyed it so much. This was almost the highlight of the night for me, and that's sad if you think about it. But the reason why is because we basically started the match with freaking Drew Gulak talking to Little Jimmy, pretending to interact with Little Jimmy, and then supposedly kicking Little Jimmy out of the ring. And that angered R-Truth so much. And I was like,
"You kicked Little Jimmy."
It was so good.
Did he say that?
Yeah, exactly. And they also did the thing where because there's a running joke now where R-Truth's supposed childhood hero is John Cena. So he was doing some of John Cena's offense. And so it was pretty hilarious.
Oh man, now I'm kind of mad.
You can find it on the YouTube and stuff. It's there.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now, just for that, because I love R-Truth. I think he's gold. R-Truth, anything he does right now is just gold. So yeah, that sounds funny.
So yeah, that's why I wanted to at least talk for a couple minutes about the pre-show, because there was actually some good comedic gold out of that match.
Then you have the Super Ninja, the King of the Ninjas.
Oh yeah, as soon as that match, because they made it a point to mention that the 24/7 rule stuff was suspended during the course of the match, but as soon as that closing bell rang, out came Lucha House Party and Akira Tozawa, and then Akira stops the Lucha House Party from getting to the ring so Akira can go in, and it's just so they can cut through the ring to get to R-Truth, who immediately ran to where the panel was, and then just took off from there. So that whole thing, that stuff is what I like about the 24/7. It's after all this time, they still, to me at least, they still managed to actually have some good comedic stuff happening.
That's what I like about it. I mean, you can do some comedy and you put it in like that. And if you do it like that, if that's all the comedy part, I'm fine with that. It's never going to be the main part of it, but if it's something like that, then yeah, space it out. But yeah.
Yeah, so that was the kickoff show. And then we, from this is where things got a little weird from a production standpoint. It just felt confusing because one of the last things they played on the kickoff show was a video package hyping up the the Roman versus Jay match.
Was there? Now let me ask you a question.
And then it was the first thing they and then it was the first thing they played at the start of the show. I don't remember if it was the same package, but it felt like it.
I mean, they do that because they don't always assume that the audience is watching the pre-show. And they're making that correct.
Correct assumption.
That's fine. It was just weird for me since I was watching it on the network on both.
The question I have is, I came in 6 minutes into the start of it, and Roman was just coming out. So they did the package. The package was about 3 minutes, 2 minutes?
They did about 4 minutes of packages.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then Jay's entrance was about 2 minutes.
Right.
Not even.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they also did the lowering of the cell.
Lower the cell. Okay.
That takes a minute. So yeah, about 6 minutes, probably about right.
Because I came in about 6 minutes, and then Jay was in the ring, and then Roman was just coming out. So so that makes sense. All right,
you didn't miss anything.
I thought I missed something. Usually the match just starts right away, so I was just like, okay.
No, that's just that was just how they
had to do the.
Oh yeah, they did the slow, the ominous cell coming down. Yeah,
exactly.
Which
now
anyway,
the Jey Uso Roman match again. I have to admit, this is what Roman should have been doing years ago. He is a great heel. Naturally,
he is a great heel, but oh my god, I hated this match so much.
See,
well, this was more of a. This was more again of a angle match more than a wrestling match. This match is trying to sell him.
I love the concept. I love the story, but oh my god, it took them forever to do anything in this match. This is why the show is 3 hours long, is because this match was 45 minutes of Roman and Jay huffing and puffing.
We clocked it down to just under a half hour, but you're right. No, that's exactly it.
It dragged on, and it's not that I understand the story, but they were so slow to do anything. Like, they could have had a really intense fight, I think, and kept the pace up for most of the match, and I think it would have worked better. I mean, I'm nitpicking on the thing, but just to me watching it, it felt so slow.
Well, my thoughts on that is, I think it's because they haven't done anything like this before, and I think, like I said, they probably could have picked it up just a little bit, maybe trimmed a good 10 minutes out of that. And I know what they were trying to do. I
would have loved a 30-minute match of them beating the hell out of each other for most of it.
I know what they were trying to do. They're trying to sell the pain of it, that he's kicking the crap out of him. They're selling that. But you could have sped it up.
And that would have been fine towards the end of the match. In the beginning of the match, they're still just going,
they're going a little slow.
Boom. Now we're going to wait 30 seconds for the next punch.
I think that was the issue. They went too slow at the beginning. If they had sped it up at the beginning and then slowed it up to the end of the crawl where they're hurt now, they're really hurt. And
that would have been fine. It just felt slow from the get-go, and so the ending needed to be what it was.
Yeah.
I saw that coming from a mile away. I knew that Jey Uso was never going to quit, but I figured that Jimmy Uso was going to get involved somehow and cause Jey to quit.
Yeah.
I saw what's his name break down though. I was like, okay, Roman's breaking down. He's literally.
Oh yeah, that was great. I mean, he was
he's literally just all that he used to be is gone. All that person he used to be is
like I said,
gone.
Story A+. The match itself sucked.
I think the reason why I think it's because mandate. They would probably tell him stretch it out. I bet you they told him back stretch it out because they don't
stretch it out. It's only 6 matches on the card. We have to fill 3 out.
They told him stretch it out, and I think that's the company's fault. That's not their fault on that one. I think it's just the way they booked it was so they stretched the match so out because they made it. But overall. Great match.
We should have had a tag title match on there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought you said a tag team match. Yeah,
you're right.
Team match.
Wow, we're at the point here where there's not enough matches now.
Right. See, I made a joke. I made a joke in another chat where I was like, it was almost like somebody. It was almost like Vince or somebody told them, oh yeah, we're doing this like we would on Takeover, where we've only got a few matches, but we're gonna give you guys anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, depending on what it was. But okay.
But the problem is, 3 of the matches were short.
Right. Here, okay. Well, we'll get to that when we get to those matches. I wrote one specific line here that I wanted to read out for you guys in my notes here. Wrestling is theater, and this opening match deserves a Tony Award.
Yeah. No.
Because as far as
Roman Reigns actually getting out all cheery.
Well, no, that's
great.
I mean that's my thing. Like,
can't fake
as far as wrestling being used to tell a story within the scope of a match, I thought I quite frankly enjoyed this thoroughly. But I can see your point, especially Chris, as far as there were so many down times during this match.
The whole match was down. And that was the problem.
it felt like it, and I could see it too. Because I did notice it, and like I said, I enjoyed the match, but I did notice that this is going kind of long. And that was my thought.
This went longer.
Roman Reigns being slow and methodical is fine, but when Jey Uso had the advantage, he was also slow and methodical, which doesn't make sense for his character or situation. He should have been house on fire.
I see your point there.
And it turned into a strap match. Like, all of a sudden, it morphed into a strap match. Literally, their arms are strapped together. I was like, what?
I was confused by that.
They decided to make a strap match.
Okay.
But, even when Jey Uso went to go get the strap, it took him, 2 minutes to hit Roman with it.
Yeah.
Because he, get it with it, and then he was just fiddling with it for, so long. It was.
I'm like,
but yeah, it turned
I'm like, if people were worried about a lack of if people were worried about a lack of storytelling within a wrestling match, I think they got it in spades here.
Oh, they got it in that one, yeah. But it's just
no, it was good. It was just story.
There's your ring psychology.
But yeah, I liked it though. But you basically have now is, and the way it's been set up now is Roman is now considered the chief. These guys are now his servants. Literally, Jey Uso is now his servant.
Oh yeah, I just want to talk about that because they just kind of threw that at the kickoff show. Because on Friday Night Smackdown, we learned that if Jey Uso lost, then they were out of the family. All the Usos, all their wives and their children's and their children's. Now, instead of them being out of the family, all of a sudden they're going to be servants instead. Which, I mean, so the rumors are, of course, that there's going to be a Samoan family faction. Yeah. And it's going to be, Roman Reigns and the Usos and probably like
maybe Nia.
No, Bronson Reed I think is also related to them. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's related to them. Like he's a cousin.
He might be a cousin. He probably is a cousin. He might be.
Samoa Joe's not related, so we don't.
No, he's not. I looked that up. I had to look it up because
I think Bronson Reed is related to them.
He might be an Anoa'i. Yeah. He might be related by marriage or something like that. Cousin.
I do. I think
that's a Bourne family. Yeah, that's a big branch.
Good Lord. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. Either way, they're gonna do like a Samoan dynasty faction, which would be great. And that's because this is what happened. You remember with the Bellas when they lost, and the other one became the servant, and then eventually made up over servitude. They're just doing the same thing, which is such a weird thing. I guess
it's a way you could turn the Usos heel.
Stockholm syndrome is what it is.
Yeah, you could turn the Usos heel without actually making them turn heel.
I'm sorry, Bronson Reed's Australian. He's not.
That's why I was like, I don't know, because
I was trying to think. There is someone else in the system related to them. I just don't remember who it is.
The Rock's daughter is in developmental.
So she's in.
I don't remember her name right this second.
It's Somi Johnson.
Yeah, but she's in developmental. She's one of the ones that's been even seen like in the crowd in NXT when they were.
Yeah, but I don't think she's ready for prime time yet. She's not going to be ready until at least. They could bring Nia in. They can bring Nia in, Nia Jax. You can bring her in. She's a cousin.
See, I would actually be okay with her being introduced into this and into that kind of thing. But I think they're still very much.
I know Tamina's still around.
I was thinking of Lance.
Oh, okay.
Remember that he was like a jobber who was brought in one time in a Roman Reigns storyline.
Oh yeah.
I think he's like Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, because he's
by AEW. Perfect.
Yeah. No, I think I remember that because he was somebody that I recognize the name from freaking he's been in like the SoCal scene, Nox Pro, I think, because there's a connection with Rikishi and his family. So when he showed up on SmackDown that one time years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that guy.
What's up?
The other person I can think of is the guy that I'm trying to remember what they called.
Yeah, he came in and wrestled Shane McMahon when Shane McMahon was feuding with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. No, that one I remember. Yeah. I was also just thinking about the guy who was. I'm trying to remember I can't remember his name offhand, but he's the guy that when they did Deuce and Domino, he was Deuce, and then they changed.
Oh, that's Snooker's son.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that would be a little bit different. Because he was in Legacy that one
Rico,
time.
I think. Yeah, it's Alpha. Yeah, he's in Puerto Rico. Yeah. Oh no, you're talking about that's Alpha. That's Sika. That's Sika. It's Sika's son. That's another son.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Snooker's son was Deuce and Domino.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking him, and then the other guy that was with Legacy, he's actually in Puerto Rico, I think.
Oh, okay.
So here's something funny though, is actually Roman Reigns is Jimmy and Jay's uncle.
Technically, yeah.
Oh shoot, that explains that actually. Oh gosh.
Technically,
I was looking at their family tree to see who else is in there. But he's
adds a new layer to that whole thing.
Rikishi is his cousin.
Yeah, Rikishi's his cousin. They're technically uncle because he's the son of, was it not Alpha? One of the Wild Samoans.
Yeah.
And so it's. I'd like to say that tree is.
That actually reminds me. That was the last thing I wanted to touch on before we move on to the next match. I did want to touch.
Oh, Sean Maluda.
Yeah.
He's in AEW. He's in AEW right
now. The one last thing I wanted to touch on was that moment after the match was over, when you have Alpha and Sika like kind of present him with.
They acknowledge the tribal chief.
I was like, oh shoot! See, they've really built up this story, and
Well,
the way they said it, the
way they set it up, the way it set up was their way of squashing what's in the beef. Now they will acknowledge that he's the chief now, so it's
yeah, they're gonna make a faction out of the three.
Yeah. So that it'll be an interesting story going forward.
Maybe someone like Lance will be signed, or they'll get Sean Maluta back. Yeah,
because I know he's in AEW, but I don't think he has a contract with him. He can use him as
all right. Yeah.
Right. What's the next one? We're going
next one. You want to go back to Jeff Hardy and Elias?
Yeah. Let's talk about.
I called that. I know I called it, but he didn't pin him.
No.
I mean, we still got the right winner. We
got the right winner. They just protected Hardy and got Elias to win.
I don't know what they're doing here. Why aren't we just not pushing Elias?
So here's the thing. Here's my one note on that match. It was a Raw match, right down to the DQ finish.
Right. Yeah. Right down to the finish.
And I don't
right down to the non-finish.
And I don't like. See, and I don't like saying stuff like that when I talk about matches, because I hear everybody else saying that. I'm like, yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, the match was all right.
The thing is,
it was a Raw match, is what it was.
Chris has said this earlier. Chris said this earlier on Discord. He said this a while back. This feud makes no sense because already, as you said, Sheamus already admitted he was the one driving the car.
But they've retconned it now. The commentary's we have no idea who ran over Elias.
Yeah, they danced around it on commentary tonight. I don't know if you guys noticed that. They even said, hey, the suspect seemed to,
it's Sheamus.
They basically said who it was without saying who it was, because they were like, oh yeah, it couldn't have been Jeff Hardy, because the suspect was described as having red hair and a red beard.
Sheamus admitted it.
Sheamus admitted it on SmackDown, but they didn't acknowledge it because they're back on Raw.
This is just like apparently Elias doesn't watch the show, and WWE thinks that we don't watch the show either.
So Elias is sitting home.
We all know it's Sheamus.
So they're saying Elias sat home, injured, doing the thing like, oh, that Jeff Hardy, he was jealous, and he did it.
I love
it. Literally, there's video evidence.
I would accept Elias blaming Jeff Hardy and being like, Sheamus wouldn't have run me over a car if it wasn't for you. I would accept that.
That would make context more sense.
Him blaming Jeff Hardy for hitting with a car when we know for a fact it was Sheamus, as far as the storyline's concerned, makes no freaking sense.
Hey, this is just like when they did the Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan versus Rowan angle with the fake Rowan that appeared 1 week and then they forgot about him the next. This is what this has become.
We watched the show, WWE. We know every time you deviate from your story. We know. There's millions of us who watch the show. You can't put one past us.
Like I said, the better way would have been, like you said, Chris, would have been if he just blamed Jeff. He blamed Jeff because it was Jeff's fault that Sheamus did that.
That would be perfectly fine. It would be insane. But Elias is a heel, and he's allowed to be insane. He's just not allowed to be stupid.
You could have said, Elias could have said, Jeff, I was your friend. I was trying to help you out. And because Elias targeted me and took me out and hurt me, and I blame you for it.
Yeah, perfect.
It's perfect.
Boom, we did it.
Bam,
WWE can hire us tomorrow.
Yes.
No, see,
it would have been easy. It would have made more. It would have made more kayfabe sense. Now it's just like, why are you mad at him? He ran me over. No, he didn't. He ran me over. You're insane.
He ran me over.
And I have an album coming out tomorrow.
Right.
So buy my own.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe they doubled down on this. Like, we don't know who ran over Elias because we absolutely 1,000% know who ran over Elias with a car, and it was Sheamus.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Let's just move on. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't want to say, we had more to say about that storyline than we did about the match. That should say something about the match.
Yeah, well, the match was a Raw match because of him with the guitar, and that was that. And they're going to keep having matches for the next 5 months. Anyway,
this feud must continue. So yeah, then we had freaking. So we had the Miz.
No, we had a good match next. So
yeah, we had a good.
No freaking. We had a good match.
Okay, so we had the Miz versus Otis with the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line.
Now, let me say this. I did like Law and Otis. I thought that was the brick.
So did I, to be honest.
Ron Simmons.
It was stupid.
It was Ron Simmons as bailiff. Damn. JBL is the crooked judge.
Teddy Long.
Then you had Teddy Long. Teddy Long suddenly appears. I was like, what?
He was the court stenographer.
Yeah, he's the court stenographer. I thought that made me laugh. Then you have all the different people in the stand. Asuka is basically going, doing Japanese, and everybody's looking like, yeah. Like what she just said.
It's like, did you understand
every word?
Every word of it, player.
Yeah, every word, brother.
Flair. Oh yeah, he said Flair. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was funny.
Oh my God, Teddy Long, and I messed up his catchphrase.
Oh, we miss you so much, Teddy Long. Please come back so you can book more tag matches.
Tucker's like, I'm gonna get you, and then it was. I thought it was funny. I thought it was perfect. And then JBL goes, it's like suddenly he turns on him. You're like, okay, I didn't see that one. Wait a minute, it's JBL. You should have thought of that.
What surprised me, he was like he was about to dismiss the case. Like I wasn't expecting that. Like this is WWE. This case is closed. And the Miz is like, no bribe.
And I ruined Flavor of the Miz. What? Damn.
And I like that, and I like that ruling in favor of the Miz was not okay. Yeah, the Miz gets the Money in the Bank. No, it meant that they get to do the match. Like, good,
yeah,
perfect.
That's why I liked it. That's why I liked it.
It was great.
That's wrestling for you.
It led to.
And that's how wrestling should be. It should lead to a match, and it should lead to a match with a conclusion. And we got a conclusion. It is.
And it was did not see it coming.
Does,
I did not see that coming. I'll give them
point
props.
Out to vaguely here to the right, the Miz is your new Mr. Money in the Bank. Oh man! But hey, I mean, I thought that was honestly best match of the night in terms of like the match being good and the story being good. Tucker turning on Otis because Otis is stealing all the spotlight and taking advantage of Tucker. I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
And they didn't leave it as like a cliffhanger. They resolved it right after the match. We went to like a quick commercial and we came back. They're all backstage. Tucker explains what happened, why it happened, threatens the Miz, and Otis comes and attacks them. They start brawling, and it's great. It's unfortunate they're on separate brands. We're probably gonna have a quick payoff or no payoff at all.
We might see a payoff. I think we might see a one-time exception. We might see a one-time exception.
Or they do it for Survivor Series because brand versus brand.
Brand versus brand, they might do that. Yeah, I think that's probably what they're
doing. But I appreciate it in them not being like, we'll find out from Tucker tomorrow night.
They did it right after, which was actually good.
Which was great.
I love that too, because I love the Miz and John were like at him, and he looks at him, he goes, "Hey, do you, bro? Do you? You're fine, cool." Like I like that, and yeah, they went right to it, and itself was a great match. I hate that they're jobbing Otis out. I like Otis. Otis.
I don't think he jobbed out. That was a dirty win.
It's a clear one.
Yeah, no,
I don't like that they took that from him. I like Otis. I think Otis reminds me of Dusty Rhodes. He connects with the people. He's got that working man's
I thought because they gave him new music for the pay-per-view, and the way he worked this match, I thought, okay, here starts Otis's main event push tonight.
Yeah, because he
like
good.
Early on in the match, he looked and acted like a main event star. Right, he took the match serious.
Yeah,
he was like wrestling at the angry face at the Miz like the entire match. He wasn't like dancing around joking.
Right,
it was all serious. Yeah. Like they pulled the rug out from us a little bit by having the rug out.
And I like I said, I think Otis can be the modern day Dusty Rhodes. He does connect with the people.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and it fits. This works. It works. I just wish that we would get behind Otis more. I think he can be that working man's champion.
I think I imagine he probably gets the briefcase because I mean they also kind of hinted that John Morrison wanted the briefcase too, so I could see like the four of them doing a fatal four-way or something.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see.
Yeah, I do have one thing I want to. There is one thing I wanted to say about it, and that's quite simply that my heart was broken because here's the thing, Otis was Money in the Bank. Otis had this nice relationship going on with Mandy Rose. Otis had a great buddy in Tucker. And over the course of the last month or so, he's lost all three of those things.
They got rid of the writer that was behind him.
Yeah,
because the person that was writing this story is not there anymore. They furlonged her. The main creator behind this story.
Well, the person who was writing the Mandy and Otis story, but Vince McMahon is the one who put the briefcase on him.
Yeah. So,
like I said, I think he gets the briefcase back.
See, that would be nice. I would like to see. I think
he gets it back.
Because you almost.
I think the whole purpose of this story is for us to start taking Otis seriously. So the Miz and John Morrison to an extent are both established main eventers. Right. The Miz has cashed in successfully before. Like if I was in the writers' room in WWE, I'm going to give you free content here. Have the Miz try to cash in and have Otis keep stopping him. And then let's have that. Let's work our way to a fatal 4 between Otis, Tucker, Morrison, and Miz for the briefcase.
Yes, let's do it like that. Let's have Otis keep intercepting him every time he tries. Otis intercept.
Yeah, because Otis is going to have to do it because he wants the briefcase back. He's going to win the briefcase back. Be a little bit more serious. He can do the comedy stuff too. The Chucky, whatever he does.
Right.
Tucky's gone now.
Not Tucky. He can say Chucky now.
Chucky,
whatever.
Yeah. So I if they can move him a little bit more of the serious, because he looked great. Honest with you, I would
great. I think this is his best match of his
best match
career.
I've seen him have.
I think this is the best match of his career.
Yeah.
He looked fantastic.
It's not been a long career. It's only been a couple of years, but I think it's the best match of his career in the way that they presented his character, his ability to win the match. It took a briefcase to the head for him to lose.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. It wasn't
this is how you keep people strong.
The payoff is if he comes back, gets the briefcase, and then can slip into the main event scene and actually win. Because trust me,
before tonight, did you see him as a main eventer?
Yeah.
The main event.
Before tonight, no.
But after tonight, after that match, and after this, I'm thinking okay, Otis can do something. Maybe Otis can stand up to Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I started to believe that a little bit with this match tonight.
Yeah, we need people. I think we need more.
Because that's where we're at. Can Otis, have a legitimate last with Roman Reigns? Before tonight, no, he could not have. After tonight, he's taken that step to where he could be credible, in a way that he wasn't before.
I agree.
Which is, I'm actually really hopeful despite the result. Because I think.
I do think I'm trying to remember. We've seen feuds happen over Money in the Bank, but have we ever seen them actually have one person win it and then someone else win it back from them or whatever? I don't think we have.
No, we've only seen it happen where Edge took the Money in the Bank.
We've only seen somebody, if they win it, they win it and then that's it, and then they cash it in. We've never seen anyone actually have a real proper feud over the thing. The closest we
would have people feud.
Well, the closest thing I've seen to a proper feud to it, but it was still kind of one-sided, where once it did change hands or didn't or whatever, that was the end of it. Was when the Rhodes Scholars exploded over it, kind of. They had that feud between Cody Rhodes and
Cody Rhodes and
I like
that. That was a good. That was I quite enjoyed the feud over that. Even if it didn't,
and people should feud over the briefcase. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, I like Chris's suggestion. Otis just keeps messing with Miz every time. Every time drives Miz crazy now. He's driving Miz crazy. Miz can't do anything. Morrison's okay, I'll try it, but Morrison kind of wants the thing to himself.
Right. Well, maybe the Miz failing multiple times makes Morrison think that he should be the one cashing in.
Yeah. So they can go that route, and I think if they
maybe I'll write that video, YouTube.
Yeah, write that video. All right. So let's
go on to the next match.
Sasha.
I don't want to be online forever tonight, but we had Sasha Banks and Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship inside Hell in a Cell.
Probably, and now my opinion, maybe the match of the night. I thought they did. Yes. I don't give me that look. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah. No,
it
was a good match.
These two have always been.
But
these two have
always
had great
chemistry. Can we talk about the Cell for a moment? The other two matches, they did the do before the match. This match, for some reason, we left the Cell hanging above the ring while
because they want to do that chair spot.
I know they want to do the chair spot, but it makes no sense.
They wanted to. It made no sense because they're trying to do that.
No,
that chair
I
spot.
I know what Chris's problem is.
The chairs are crutch.
Chris's problem is that consistency thing.
Consistency, yes.
But you're
gonna drop the Cell,
asking
then they turned around and dropped the Cell before Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton too. So.
Hey, you're asking an awful lot of WWE to be consistent.
Yeah, I think
to be consistent across 3 hours.
It's like you're asking someone to put a square peg in a round hole. So
yeah, it's not always good. But anyways, I thought the match was well done. These two have great chemistry. They and then Bayley played her part as a heel perfectly. I love what she said. There was part where she's trying to do the double take. I don't know what she was trying to put the two together and everything, and trying to put tape the two Kindle sticks together. First she couldn't because she's so sweaty she couldn't get the tape off. So she goes to the ref. Can you do this for me? ref's like, no, I can't do it for you.
I know, I laughed. I was like,
I was like, okay, that's funny. That's funny, like that. And then she couldn't get it right. I don't think what she was. I think what she was trying to set up. What was she trying to set up? Like
she was trying to set up like two kendo sticks together. I don't know why she was doing it, but she was, and it was really funny because I think it was Corey who said something about duct tape isn't supposed to be used for wrestling, and my mind immediately went to that one, like the one or two times they've done that in like last man standing matches, where that's how they kept someone from standing up. It's like, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right
like
here,
you said,
Corey.
so, no, it was just, it was just that.
I mean,
I don't
he's
know
not
what she was
wrong,
trying to,
but it's
but
just that there's a
covered
precedent.
it well. I think she was supposed to do like, I think it was supposed to be like Darth Maul. She's gonna do a double Kindle stick and like trying to do that or something, or she was gonna use the power bomber through it or something like that. It just didn't work out.
But I mean, it didn't.
But
it definitely didn't ruin. It didn't ruin the match by any stretch. I was just confused by what happened.
I think they covered it. But in other words, it was a great match. The spots were nasty. You can again, it was the girls looked like they were beating the living hell out of each other. That she did that. What was that? The tumble over into that sunset power bomb into the chair. Back of her head hit the chair in the corner. Just bam! You could hear that thing smack. You're just like, oh.
Yeah.
So, and then they're brutal. So I thought it was well done and everything. Now the only problem I had with the match is you should not have started the match in a cage match. You started the feud in the cage match. Now you could say they've been teasing this feud for like 5 years. I don't know how long, but in other words, it's a good match though. It feels like it was backwards. It felt like it was backwards. Usually you have this match at the end of the feud, not the beginning of the feud.
Yeah, but I mean, we kind of touched on it on Thursday during the predictions, anyways, which was that this is a Hell in a Cell match, and this is like midway through their feud, for all intents and purposes. Like the feud kind of started the moment.
Yeah, the feud started years ago.
Well, the feud's yeah. I mean, it's a thing that's been building up over time, and the fact that they continue to be good friends through all this time, even like when they became the golden role models and had that whole thing. Like
that was great.
Yeah. So we actually have like things heating up with it. So like the match itself was really good.
I have no complaints
here.
It did what it was supposed to do. It capped up. I mean, it didn't really cap off a feud. I know they're going to continue feuding.
They started. It's going to be now. You have Bayley's going to be pissed. I mean,
because now it's going to turn to can Sasha finally defend a title because she's never successfully defended a title before.
That's the point that they always bring up. So this is where yeah.
So now that's going to be the next stage of this. Is can she defend it? And maybe she can't, which I think would actually be pretty cool if Bayley gets it.
I think that would be great if Bayley comes out and goes, "Okay, I got my rematch. You never defended your title yet."
Yeah.
And you can have her throw it in her face. You've never. Every time you won it, you lost it. Every time. And I'm gonna do it again. And then you go from there. And then you can have that story is, can she do it?
Exactly.
Can she not hold out? Can she get it off? Like that,
it was a good match. This is what the first match I think should have been in terms of like its pace and viciousness. And I understand that they had 3 cell matches. They have to design them differently. Like Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre went on top of the cage. No one else is doing that, right? But in this case, they all, the women here, they used all the weapons. Like we didn't see very many weapons in the first match. We saw steel steps. And a lot of straps.
Well, I think that's just. I mean, that's just it. Like we'll touch on it some more when we get to the main event. But
we can touch on it right now. We have 3 different Hell in a Cell matches.
Oh yeah,
you can't book them all.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's 3 different stories being told within the same stipulation, which is good. I think that's probably the best thing you can say about that. Like, if you're gonna have that many.
The point I'm trying to convey here is not the storyline. It's that we can't have 3 matches where they're hitting each other with kendo sticks.
Oh right. Like.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I got
not so much that.
Like Dusty said, they went underneath the ring, baby, and they got the plunder. They got all the plunder that was underneath the ring.
Oh right.
Everything.
Yeah. That's actually a good point.
But in terms of pace and brutality, I think this is more what the first match should have been.
Okay, I see your point there. Yeah.
Who puts Kindle sticks under the ring though? I mean,
ring crew.
Hornswoggle.
So Yeah, they went to they just tapped into the little people's world. That's why.
No, I mean we've just kind of.
Well, you gotta remember
it's really a
that's
disbelief. You just gotta kind of accept that kendo sticks go under the ring.
Everything goes under the ring.
I know they serve no purpose in like
chairs.
Because like chairs serve some purpose, ladders serve some purpose, even a table serves some purpose. We know kendo sticks don't, but we kind of have to suspend that disbelief a little bit.
No, like I said, they're pulling it from Hornswoggl's world. The little people's world. They pulled it from the little people's world.
Duct tape under that makes sense. There's always a toolbox.
Yeah, there's always a toolbox. Yeah, that's it. That always makes sense.
That makes sense. The ring crew builds the ring.
Yeah,
I don't think they use the kendo sticks to build the ring, but
unless Bayley could say Bayley put it underneath the ring before the show starts.
They used to say that. They used to say, "Oh my God, someone put a kendo stick under the ring," but they rightfully dropped that. Who cares? It's under the ring.
No, right, for sure.
It's standard stock.
So overall, like I said, I thought it was the best. I thought it was the best. It could have been arguably the match of the night. You could have a different opinion there, but it was a great match between.
Oh yeah.
And I thought
it was a great match. I don't. We're gonna see more of it regardless. Like.
Yeah, there's gonna be more. It's not over.
It's tough that it was Hell in a Cell because this is like this should be the end of the feud.
Right.
That's what I said. That's my feeling. My feeling.
It's not going to be
end of the feud. It's not. I don't know what's
we gotta build up Bianca Belair.
On Hell in a Cell though. How are we gonna end this feud? Someone's gonna have to get carried on the stretcher then. Literally. Somebody have to get
stretcher match.
It might be Sasha. It might be Sasha.
I mean,
it'll probably
the story I'm saying is because Sasha's in the Mandalorian that's coming out. She's got a role in the Mandalorian that's coming out.
Right.
And so but she may have to do tour press stuff, and so I can see.
Yeah, like the title on her shoulder is gonna be great.
So yeah,
that's what they're doing.
So yeah.
But they might do something like Last Woman Standing or
something like that.
Iron Woman.
Or loser.
Do another
loser leaves WWE, where one of them leaves for exactly 1 month. You know how that goes.
Oh, loser leaves SmackDown. Maybe they could do something like that.
It's just unfortunate that the way they kind of have the pay-per-view structure that it was Hell in a Cell, so that kind of person.
So it's kind of like what's the blow-off match?
Right.
It's going to be on.
Oh yeah, it's going to be something like Last Woman Standing or Iron Woman match.
Well, it's like it's be like one of those deals where it's like, okay, you beat me in a actually because they've done because the two of them have done an Iron Woman match before, right? They did that in NXT.
That was Takeover.
Actually, that would be a good blow-off match.
They can do that
if you go that route, bring it kind of full circle to their NXT rivalry.
Yeah, I can see it.
Iron Woman in a cage.
It'll be an Iron Woman match probably. Just it may end up just being
an Iron Last Woman Standing because I don't think because Roman Reigns is going to move on from Jey Uso, so they're not going to go beyond the I Quit match. I don't think.
No.
It might surprise us, but I think they're probably going to move on to his next challenger, whoever that is.
I don't know yet. Probably Big E.
Randy Orton. Because Survivor Series.
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh, that's Big E.
So
unless they go Big E.
Speaking of moving on, let's talk about Retribution finally making their pay-per-view debut. Egads. First of all, yikes.
Second of all, yikes.
Third of all, yikes. No. My gripe, I have a huge gripe here. I don't know who is behind this story, but whoever is doing this does not know wrestling, or it doesn't. You're trying to build Retribution as this badass faction, even if they're good or bad. Badass faction. The Hurt Business, yes, the Hurt Business they come off as a new version of. The Hurt Business come off as a kind of a modern version of the Four Horsemen. They just in the business.
Except for Shelton, because he's still only won 2 Raw matches in 13 years. So
yeah, no, well, Shelton is the veteran side of that. But
he's
still,
the Tony Romo of that group. Whoops.
He's Tom Romo, but no, you could say he's Tully Blanchard. But anyways, you could say they're coming off like a new modern version of the Four Horsemen and everything like that. So they're coming off looking badass. Retribution, what the hell are they thinking?
I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, if you're going to do, Ali challenges, Hurt Business to a match where one of yours gets one of ours, fine. I like that.
Why couldn't we just do Shelton and have him lose?
That's what I was thinking too. We want Retribution to come off.
Like we all know Slapjack is the jobber of the group. We know Shelton's the jobber of the group. Why not just have those two go?
And then you pull it, and then Slapjack, Shane Thorne, who, good God, I know he was basically doing Nikki Cross, trying to be like Nikki. Good God. The crazy shaking the ropes. He's basically playing Nikki. I'm like, why are you doing Nikki Cross? Don't do this. And then you had to lose.
Someone convinced Nick Miller to come back, and we'll just do the Mighty again. Like, I don't know.
I have a couple things here. First of all, oh look, Retribution is finally on a pay-per-view. And second, I love when an impromptu match serves almost no purpose, because really, what did this match serve except to somehow further the storyline of that?
I don't know. Maybe Bobby Lashley's going to challenge for the WWE title now.
And two,
he's champion.
Speaking of the pacing, you notice that they specifically they put the Hell in a Cell matches at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the pay-per-view, with one or two non-Cell matches in between. Yeah, no, that's fine. I just I feel like that's all this match served.
Yeah, it's a palate
cleanser.
But here's the issue.
Another thing,
well, yeah, it was there to bridge to beat between the Hell in a Cell matches. That's right.
But the issue is though, if you want to put Retribution over as a group that should be feared,
I think it's clear
you
they don't
have to win that match. You have to have Shelton should have put Shelton Benjamin in there.
I think the last 3 weeks have made it clear that they have no interest in putting Retribution over.
No, they don't. They don't.
Pretty much.
It's a shame.
I want to say that Retribution pretty much peaked right before they actually revealed themselves proper. And then their second peak,
they peaked with the chainsaw.
Right. Hey, and then the second and not quite as high peak was when they brought in Ali as the de facto leader of the group.
That was a brief blip and this is cool now.
That's cool.
They're
not winning matches. They're jobbing them out.
And also, apparently, despite because we were talking about the possibility of Retribution being like an anti-hero group, but no, Ali's apparently a cowardly heel as of tonight, so there is that. Whoops.
It's just I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I'm disappointed because it's like the person who's writing this doesn't know how wrestling storylines work,
or storylines in general, or even storytelling.
I mean, he's writing this, and the sad part is Vince is approving it. Vince is looking at it and go, yeah, that sounds great.
I mean, it's possible this just exists to put the Hurt Business over. I think that's just what this is at this point.
I like that.
We put this group together so we can put the Hurt Business over, which is fine.
But you're taking like Dijakovic. Should have been that Dijakovic should have been in that match.
No, I prefer Slapjack in the match because Slapjack is useless. At least Dijakovic and Dio Madden could be something at some point.
Yeah, I mean, but
Shane Thorne is just a generic white guy, unfortunately.
Well, thank God.
Slapjack is the most interesting thing about Shane Thorne.
Only thing I can say about this is thank God Mercedes dodged a bullet. She's banging that. So maybe this doesn't taint her. And Mia Yim, maybe thank God this doesn't taint her.
No, Mia Yim was here tonight. She rescued Mustafa Ali from the ring.
No, and see, here's the thing. The real highlight of this match was right after the bell rang. Because when you basically only had Bobby Lashley coming out, and you basically only had Slapjack come out, I was kind of like, okay, so what we're going for here is that the groups are not getting involved during the match. So it's gonna happen as soon as the match is over, and sure enough,
I knew that.
Yeah, but that was fun. That was good. That continued the storyline for better or for worse.
His towel.
His towel, okay, smart.
He threw his towel at Bobby Lashley.
I give him that one. That was a good distraction. But Bobby was like, "Damn, what the?" like that.
Yeah, Bab was like, "Whoa, gosh."
So
generic white guy throwing towels at me.
So to be honest, though, aside from all that, that all said, this was basically similar to Elias and Hardy in that it was basically a Raw match that they threw into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is for me. Yeah, this was probably the low point of the show.
Pretty much.
It's just this match was useless.
Yeah.
It didn't get anybody over. Oh, well, it made the Hurt Business look like, well, Hurt Business already over.
Like I said, I think at this point we're just putting the Hurt Business over, and that's what.
Yeah,
what
it just was a useless match. It was just, and it's for the US title.
Like Cedric, Bobby Lashley, they're pretty awesome. If we're gonna put those two people over, sure.
Yeah, but no, it's just
all right. Whatever. We're putting the Hurt
Business over. Let's go to the title match.
Go to the title match. All right.
Yep.
Good opening. Well, the opening was different. Actually, the opening was different because
not really. Edge has done that. Like he was like with the hoodie and
that was because they did the Orton coming out as one of the ring crew and everything.
Right.
So,
like we've seen that from Edge in a Hell in a Cell match before, so I'm like, oh look, he's doing a callback to Edge, which I don't know if that was intentional, like haha, I'm still gonna feud with Edge when he comes back, or just because of lazy writing, but
probably both.
Probably not.
Now,
like when in doubt,
I don't know. I want to see entrances in a title match. Like, I don't want to do the sneak attacks on Raw. Give me an entrance in the title match. I want the music. I want the introduction. I want what's his name? Not Justin Roberts. Who is the guy right now? Mike Rome. Mike Rome.
I think so.
I want Mike Rome going. The following contest was scheduled for one fall, and it's for the Universal Championship.
I think they were trying to. I think they were trying to do it a little different. Like you said, they've already had 2 Hell in a Cell matches. So
yeah, no, I just like the
trying to break it up a little.
Title match thing. That's a personal preference of mine.
Yeah, but they were trying to break it. I think they were trying to break it up a little because they've already had 2 of them. So let's do a little different. And then have the brawling before the match starts, and then you have basically Drew looking like he's gonna, do it again, and then they have the back and forth. And this was brutal. This was brutal in the more way without any of the weapons and everything. The pace and everything is
weapons and stuff. Like there was chairs.
So this was brutal in that way.
Yeah.
Then you have Orton pull out the bolt cutters, get his way out of there. Then climb up to the top of the cell. I'm like, okay, we haven't done this.
Oh my god, it took Drew forever to get to the top of the cell.
I don't know. That cell is not made for climbing though.
No, they cut in holds and handholds.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they hit it well. They hit it well though. They hit those handholds well. I mean, honestly, I didn't see them.
But if you notice, they climbed up in the exact same spot because that's where the holes were.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. Like I'd rather
those holes are because they put the camera.
Well, yeah, I'd rather them climb up than not climb up. But Drew back there is so slow. Maybe Roman Reigns and Jey Uso should go on top of the cage.
Well, he's tired, man. It's been a good match.
I know, but it took him like 2 minutes to get up there, and I'm like, this is the Scottish psychopath right here, struggling to climb the side of the cage.
Well,
honestly, have you ever tried to climb up a chain link fence?
Right, but I'm not a WWE superstar.
I'm just saying.
I'll be too.
Look,
I know it's hard, but he's trained for this.
It took Mick Foley like 5 minutes to get up there. It took Undertaker almost a good 2 to 3 minutes to get up there. And he had a broken foot.
I don't care. Like it was silly because he's 7 foot tall. He's a Scottish psychopath, and he struggled to get up the side of a cage.
I don't. No, I'm not gonna even mad at him. I'll give.
But I mean, then they threw him off the cage, so I mean that was cool.
Well, yeah, he took that.
Yeah.
That hurt. I don't care. Even if he climbed all the way from the top, that hurt. That hurt like a. I mean, I'll give him props.
Off the cage into a table.
That still hurt. That still hurt. That still had to be something that hurt bad. And it's a long time since we've seen something like that. Well, it's been like a couple of years since Shane did it. Shane was the last one to do it, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, KO.
Oh yeah, KO, yeah.
KO
did it last year.
He did last year. Okay.
He was gonna go for like a senton or something, and then the person rolled out of the way, and he went to the table.
All right. So hey, but other than that, then you had the looks like Drew's.
Someone does every year, like.
Yeah. Then you had Drew's gonna pull it out, and then boom, moved out the way. RKO, match over, clean.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of abrupt, just one RKO, and that was that. I mean, I know they're trying to put RKO as the most dangerous move.
Well, I can't be mad at that. His man just fell from a cage. He's hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird in that respect. Like I would have liked to see something.
Like him get the arm up or something, and then maybe Orton goes.
I don't know, like maybe like exposed turnbuckle or a low blow, because I mean they love low blows, or just
Orton steps back to the punt and then changes his mind and hits another RKO, everything like that.
Yeah, I would have liked something more in the sequence to like put McIntyre down. Like this is just like nitpicking. I Randy Orton won, whatever. Yeah. Like maybe he runs into the turnbuckle or something. Like he didn't do that. He just kind of stopped short and then turned around. But that's like a small nitpick of the match.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm happy Orton winning, because now I'm thinking, oh great, now they're gonna have the title until Edge comes back. You know?
No, I think they might push this over to the next pay-per-view and have Drew take it back from him.
I don't think so.
I think they want to give Orton the 14th one. They're just trying to give him the 14th one, then they'll give it right back to Drew. That's what I'm thinking. That's my thought on this right now. Because
the thing is, on Thursday we all assumed that Drew would retain because they were still waiting for Edge to be ready to come back for.
And that's why I picked Drew, because Edge had a setback.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's always been rumored that the plan was put the title on Orton so Edge can fight him for it, and then Edge can win it.
Right. Which they could still be doing, but maybe they're, because to be fair, next month, like for example, next month is Survivor Series. It's not so much about building up towards a title match.
Yeah, I mean, next month is going to be Orton versus Roman Reigns.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
so
that would, I mean,
which we're doing heel versus heel again.
I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't. It doesn't. That doesn't work. That doesn't work for me unless.
But it's the third. It's really funny. We're doing. If nothing changes between now and Survivor Series, this will be the third or fourth year in a row we've done heel versus heel champions at Survivor Series. Because we did Lesnar versus AJ Styles last year, or the year before. We did Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan the year before that.
Wait, was Daniel Bryan heel during that point?
Yes, he was the People's Champ. He was the Earth's champion.
Oh, okay. I don't even.
He had just turned.
Oh, I remember that.
Just turned like 2 weeks before.
You know what's funny?
Yeah,
the reason
but he looked face because he's going against Brock Lesnar. Everybody's face.
You know what?
But it was still heel versus heel. Well, and last year I think we had Styles and Lesnar.
No, you're right.
So.
You know what's funny about that though? The reason I remember that now is because I was at Survivor Series 2018, and I remember like being excited to see how Bryan would fare against Lesnar, and there was a dude sitting next to me that was booing Bryan because he was a heel because of the Earth's Champion thing. So I remember that now. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because I remember laughing a little bit about it. I was like, okay, good. You're booing him for the reason you should be booing him.
Just a funny coincidence that I don't know. It's just kind of funny that they keep doing heel versus heel for Survivor Series.
I know. It's like they don't. What they're trying to do is they don't want unless they do a 3-way.
You don't want to telegraph it. Oh yeah, last year it was actually.
It was the 3-way, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
No, that was a women's 3-way.
Oh, last year they didn't do anything with the titles because Styles and Brock were 2 years ago, and Styles and Brock and Daniel Bryan were 3 years ago.
And last year was all it was all three.
No, because last year Adam Cole defended the NXT title.
No, you're right.
Yeah, Adam Cole, defended against somebody.
And I think the WWE
They did the women's 3-way. They did the 3-way. The women's 3-way.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't every title match was. Or it wasn't
tag teams.
Yeah,
the tag team titles. So they may not do it again this year.
The mid-card titles is the 3-way.
Yeah, if they may not do the title versus title this year. They might do champion versus champion.
Yeah, they didn't do it last year. I think both champions were in the 5-on-5 match.
Yeah, 5-on-5. So they might do that again.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean.
Well, so overall,
it was Brock Lesnar and the Fiend were the champions at the time. So
that's right. I remember. I think a lot of us were making jokes about that. Like, that's right. They weren't gonna put Lesnar versus the Fiend, especially versus freaking Adam Cole. That's right. So they found a way to get around that. So they did the mid card titles. I remember that now. Okay.
Yeah. So they probably do that again. We won't see the champions for each other. You won't see like the mid card champions or the tag team champions.
I mean, it really depends if NXT gets involved or not. We'll find out this week.
I don't mean it.
Well, their championship title's cursed, so I don't have no idea anymore. So ever since the two champions have been basically getting hurt. So I have no clue on that one. So, but overall, okay, let's just wrap it up here. Overall, guys, what are your thoughts on the show overall?
You want to grade it, the show?
Yeah, let's grade this. So, who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, I will probably say, overall, I thought it was, like I said, it's a great show. The only black marks would be the Elias Jeff Hardy match and the Slapjack versus Hurt Business. Those are the only two ones I didn't really like. All the other matches I enjoyed. I thought, it was. Surprised, like I said, it was longer than it should have been, but the segments I thought backstage were pretty decent. I'll give it a B+. I'd say a B+, It was really good for a WWE brand, which is in the terrible build-up, though. I was about to say the build-up just weren't that good for the build-up for Hell in a Cell. You think they had a whole couple of weeks to do it, and it just didn't go as well with the build-up wise. I don't know why, but overall, I thought the matches itself delivered. So I say B+.
All right, Alex.
I'm actually not going to be quite as nice. I'm just going to give it a solid B. My main issue is that opening match, because for all the issues that I had with how long their match went last pay-per-view, this one was even longer than that. But I mean, like, it was still a good match. It just dragged a little bit more for me. But the rest of the, like, again, because that was a good match and because the rest of the show was solid, I can give it a solid B. But I don't know if I can give it any better than that.
I'm gonna go down to B-.
Okay.
Matches were good. Story beats, and like I'm not really a fan of Orton winning. Like, obviously it was fine. It happened, you know.
Yeah.
The disaster of the U.S. title match and the Retribution aside, the disaster of Elias and Jeff Hardy storyline. Like, 2 out of the 6 matches were disasters just on themselves. B- might be too generous, but like the 2 matches in the middle are really good. I don't know. Maybe I'm to a C+. I talk myself down.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, 2 out of the 6 matches were disasters. I mean, that's a 66%.
Well, that's better than it used to be. Before, it used to be like 30%. It used to be like 2 matches were good and the rest were terrible. So they're improving on that.
No, usually the matches are good and the storylines don't make sense, but this, I don't know. All right. Final thoughts on this before we sign off.
I mean, overall, like I said, I think they are getting better, but again, it comes down to I don't know who is behind the creative of this, but they do not know how to write wrestling. They don't know how.
If you believe backstage reports that are put on the wrestling websites, the show the script is constantly changing, hours before the show.
Well, I mean, that's the story of WWE over the last several years. So
yeah, story of WWE the last several years. But
it shows. It seeps into the product, and it's seeping, and it's a slow rot. And you
I just don't want to be insulted so much. Like,
that's the thing. Whoever is doing this is not giving the audience the benefit of the doubt. They're not giving
the Elias thing. I feel so insulted.
Yeah,
the Elias thing is insulting.
More than anything else. Like, I can accept if Retribution's thus there to put the Hurt Business over. Like, it's not the choice I would make, but it's a choice being made. Yeah. And Randy Orton is not a choice I would make, but it's the choice being made, and that's fine.
Yeah, so. It's just I don't know. It's just overall, like I said, I thought it was WWE's been producing really good pay-per-views, but it's like
the wrestling is good as always. It's just the in between stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, BL. BL just reminded us before we head out. We will announce the loser of the competition.
I was really hoping we would forget to do
that. Thank you, BL,
actually trying to set us up to forget
Alex
about that.
almost got away. Alex loses.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's set this up. Let's back up. Let's pump the brakes.
I gave away the game. Oh man.
So here's the thing. So just as a reminder, on Thursday we made predictions.
Mm-hmm.
When we made predictions, we also predicted who would win at Impact's Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which I'm just gonna be honest. I'm glad I didn't actually I didn't watch. I'm glad I didn't watch the pay-per-view because it was all right, but
I don't even know it was all right. But we there's 8 matches. James and I got 2 right.
2 right.
I got 1 match.
To show you how little we watched the product.
And I would have got 3 right. I talked BL. You watched that show. I would have got 3 right, but I talked myself out of the North winning.
Yeah, you talked yourself out of the North winning, so you missed that pick.
That put us,
none of us expected Rhino to actually win, but because the deal with that was that apparently if Heath or Rhino won, Heath would get a contract. I think I'm a little confused.
There was reports that Heath injured himself in the match.
Oh yeah, that might have been it too. But
T-Bone
was the
came out that night 2-1.
T-Bone's the only one who got it right that the champ would retain.
Yes. I got it right, champ retain too.
No.
Yeah, you got Moose.
You were the only one who had Moose. Which, by the way, just as a reminder, that match was not for the TNA World Title. That was something I actually had to put in post because it turns out the whole storyline with that was like it was a confrontation. So the actual match was a cinematic match, and it ended with Moose getting his title back because EC3 had basically stolen it, but it was not a title match.
So me and Chris got those two matches right.
But that's okay. That's a minor detail.
Right, and we got the Moose right.
And James
I picked EC3.
Yeah, you picked.
Oh.
No.
Here, I have it in front of me. I'll just run it down real quick. So EC3 versus Moose. Moose won. Mm-hmm. James got that right. Mm-hmm. Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock won.
Yeah, you got
myself and Alice got that.
Right.
Call your shot. We all picked Heath. We all lost because Rhino won. X Division Championship. I got that right because I had the champion Rohit Raju retain over Jordan Grayson Willie Mack. We all got the tag team championship wrong because Alex and James chose the Motor City Machine Guns, and I chose the Good Brothers and the North one. Mm-hmm. We all got the Knockouts championship wrong because a woman who was not even in the match won. Sue Young.
TNA. Impact.
Yeah.
And then the World Championship match, we got wrong. Right. Alex and I got wrong because we picked Eric Young to win or retain. Which wrong actually? Rich
Swan.
Won.
Wrong.
I picked the face.
Ow. So
Rich.
2-1. You guys tied for first. I got only 1 point out of that whole dang thing, and then we all tied at 2 apiece tonight.
Here.
Yeah, we all tied tonight. So
I'm salty because I should have stuck with my initial gut reaction because remember last pay-per-view I was the one who said, oh yeah, Orton's gonna win this pay-per-view. I should have stuck with that for this one, and I would have gotten it, but no. No, instead.
So Alex is going to eat the marshmallows.
So and here's the thing. I already bought some marshmallows. I had to run to the store earlier.
See?
So I bought the marshmallows. So we're all ready to go on Thursday.
Campfire marshmallows, right?
Yep. And
all right.
Yeah, and also because it's close to Halloween, I was entertaining the thought of doing Halloween costumes, but you guys can decide if you're actually going to do that or not. That's fine.
Oh wow, Halloween's like this. I had no idea.
That's the next weekend.
I had a plan earlier in the month, and that didn't happen.
So, I mean, you guys can decide if you. But I found my luchador mask, so I plan on coming out to this in costume.
I was gonna buy an Orange Cassidy shirt and be Orange Cassidy, but
oh god.
Well, you just have to wear. All you have to do is wear sunglasses and just kind of keep your thumb up the whole show. That could be your costume.
Keep your hands in your pockets like this the whole show.
I was gonna get a denim jacket. I was gonna get an Orange Cassidy shirt with his face on it, but anyway.
Yeah. So
that's what happened. Alex is eating marshmallows.
Yeah, Alex is eating marshmallows. That's what happened.
I went from winning 2 challenges in a row to being the one who actually gets a punishment when we finally go back to that.
Hey! At least you got the marshmallows. You didn't do the cinnamon like I did.
This is true. This is true. I survived the cinnamon.
You survived the cinnamon one.
To be honest, I think that was the reason I suggested the marshmallows. Because I had this weird feeling in my heart that I was probably going to be the one to suffer.
Yeah.
That's what we call playing the long con, everybody.